One area that did in our discussions was the ongoing challenge, because this isn't a new challenge, but it's more difficult in the world we're operating today, is how do we develop folks for HR careers? And so a few of the things that our partners mentioned were, companies really value broader exposure to HR through different experiences. But there's some resistance in the organizations to career shifts between HR business partner roles and centers of excellence or expertise type of roles. Some of that resistance comes from the HR employees themselves. Other resistance comes from our business leaders who, want to keep expertise where it is. But to counter this, one organization we talked to has adopted a career lattice framework versus a ladder. So a lattice may be hopping around. You might move vertically, you might move horizontally, you might move diagonally, and it gives you different directions to gain a broad range of experiences. Another organization talked about creating day in the life profile for some HR roles to really create visibility and make them more tangible to people by describing the skills, needs, and the value of those roles to folks. Another area that was talked about was that a more inclusive approach is needed across the HR organization for development. So high priority. And at the senior level, so director to VP type of level, there's generally a well-established process and a lot of support in place for career progression, including things like leader assessments, coaching, established pathing for certain development experiences, training, et cetera. But for those more junior in the organization, this tends to be less defined and less supported, was what we were hearing. And lastly, with the world changing around us so quickly these days, learning agility and fast learning agility is a key focus. In fact, one organization is going to an extreme where they're rotating their senior HR leadership team every 6 months to build learning agility and give the team a more holistic view of the entire business. So I'll be curious to see the impact that has in the organization. We're used to the rotations being faster, maybe at the junior levels, which is more exposure, but at the senior levels where you really need to have leadership and impact, I think this is a experiment we'll be interested in